Hey guys, my name is Sarah and today I'm going to be showing you how I make my own inspired mouse ears. I just want to first start off saying that I am in no way affiliated with Disney. I don't own any of these. Everything I do is just simply from the love of Disney, going to the parks frequently and wanting to have different types of ears. I'm honestly not a fan of the ears that they sell there. Sorry to say, but a lot of them are just really basic to me, really boring, and then everybody has them. You're walking around with just little clones of ears. So I love crafting. I'm really passionate about it. I always have been. I'm very artistic. So I decided to make my own mouse ears. And again, I don't think that these should be for profit or anything. I think this should simply be for your own love. Again, everything I say is inspired by, because I don't own, I'm not affiliated, and I don't trademark any of this. But I wanted to show you guys just a few that I have next to me. So these were some Pocahontas inspired ears. I found this fabric. I thought it was really pretty. I was really drawn to it for Pocahontas. And this blue stone that I have here on top. So my ears are non-sew ears. Makes it way easier for me. I'm not really good at using a sewing machine. Every sewing machine I've ever had I've broken. So this was my way of getting around it. As you can see, the back is very fun. I don't like having boring backs. Sometimes I make the back match the front, but I like to have something that sparkles when you're walking away. Just because you have so much going on in the front, you know, doesn't mean that the back has to be plain and boring. They sit really comfortably on the head, and as you can see, they kind of look really far and wide apart on the headband, but once they on, I feel like I'm trying to get everything out, I'm just rambling. Once they're sitting on the head, you know, you can see they actually sit very nicely. And one thing I'm really proud of is my ears they are sturdy. I'm very, very, very proud of that. And the reason why they're sturdy is because, again, a lot of trial and error on my part. It took me about a year to try and figure out how to make these exact. Sometimes I custom make the headband. As you can see, this one is kind of like a suede kind of fabric. And sometimes I just get my own, and I'm going to be doing other series on ways I decorate them, just so you can get some ideas. You can copy them if you want, you can tweak them if you want, but you know, there's so many different styles. Some have bows, some have crowns, some have fabric flowers, some don't, some have crystals. I love this fabric. I got it from Joann's. It's like a purple, teal, and green all in one. It kind of just depends on which way you turn it, but it's made out of leather, and I made the headband out of a purple velvet. So you can get so creative with these, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and please comment any inspired ears that you would like me to make. I would love to give you a step-by-step tutorial. Again, guys, my name is Sarah. Thank you so much for watching, and I am so excited. So please stay tuned. I know this was such a long intro, but yeah, let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm going to be showing you how I make my mouse ears. So my mouse ears, I think they're very plush. They are very solid. They're very firm. I like to decorate them with little crowns. They have bead trims, they have pearls, they have crystals, they have flowers, and they also have fun backing, because why not? And my ears are no-sew ears, so let's get into it. So this is my template. It's nothing fancy, but I use this for every ear so they're as symmetrical as possible. I also used this little thing because I didn't know how to go off, and I wanted them to be as circular as possible. Don't know what this thing is. It's like for little kids with yarn, but I found it at Joann's. I leaned it up against a headband right here, so I was able to trace around it so it would sit perfectly on the headband, and then I cut it out. So that's where I got this shape from. This right here is a template for my template. This is how I cut out my fabric. As you can see, this part of the ear fits perfectly inside. So that way, if I wanted to have a pretty design that sits inside of the ear, I can move it over the fabric, and that way I know I'm not like cutting out part of my design. I kind of put it like this in the center and then trace around it. Okay, so you're gonna need fabrics of your choice. These stretchier kind of fabrics work a lot better for the ears. You're really going to have to experiment for yourself and see what kind of fabrics you like and which ones you don't like. For the bows, I like using a little bit of a stiffer fabric, as you see here. But really, again, you're just going to have to experiment, see which ones you prefer, which ones you don't. You're also going to need a headband. You can either line it yourself or you can just get one pre-lined. Make sure it's at least 1 inch. Do not get the small flimsy headbands. You need the support of a thicker headband. You're also going to be needing cardboard. So as you can see, one side looks a lot thinner than the other side. If you have thick cardboard, go ahead and smush down the edges. You want the sturdiness of the cardboard, but you don't want all of the bulk. I like using my Amazon Prime packages. They're really thin, but again, if they are too thick, just go ahead and give it a little press down. You want the edges to be nice and thin. Again, we're only looking for the support of the cardboard, not all of the bulk. Four pieces of cardboard is what we're going to be using for this project. As you can see my ears, the cardboard's already thin. I don't need to smash it down. Now trust me on this one when I say only use these glue sticks. Your projects will not fall apart, just trust me on this one. So this is the fiber fill that I use. It is silk fiber fill rather than poly fiber fill. The poly fiber fill will make its way eventually out of the fabric, almost like feathers on a down pillow. So use this one, they feel nicer and the little strings won't come out. You're also going to need some beaded trim. You can get whatever color you want, get multiple colors so that way you can have different colors for each theme. I got this at Hobby Lobby and it lasts you a really long time, and this is really essential. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on the ears. For the 4 pieces of cardboard that I have, I'm also going to need 4 pieces of fabric. If you plan on doing the back different from the front, then you're only going to need 2 pieces of fabric of one kind and then 2 pieces of a different kind of fabric for the back. So go ahead and trace your fabric template and go ahead and cut them out and put them aside. So completely up to you whether you want to use a regular headband that's already lined or if you want to line it yourself. I like to line it myself because there's a lot of different themes. I again have another stencil right over here. Actually got this stencil from ripping off the lining of one headband, and then I pretty much just laid it out and traced it. So I'm going to be using the same fabric as I'm using for the bow. Please excuse my voice today, guys. I still have a really bad cold. But I'm going to go ahead and line it and cut it out. Okay, as you can see, I cut it a little bit smaller than my stencil because this is not as wide as the previous headbands that I was using, but I did glue a little dab on the inside. I pressed the fabric down so it holds, and I kind of pull it taut. Make sure that it is dry though, because we are going to be tugging at the fabric a little bit, so you want to make sure that it's really secured on there. Pretty much what you do is you're just, again, pulling it taut, and with both sides you're just going to pretty much glue one side down like this, and then you're going to grab the other side and do the same thing. So go ahead and do that along the entire headband. And then here is what the headband looks like when it's finished. Okay, so now we have 4 cardboard ears and we have 4 matching fabrics. Again, if you're going to be using different backside of the fabrics, go ahead and grab those. Get a little bit of glue. You want to put not too crazy, but you want enough so that the fluff is going to hold. You don't want to put too much fluff. Again, we're not going for bulk, we're just going to go for soft and firm. Put the pretty side of the fabric down and place your fluff ball ear down. You're going to get a little bit of glue and work in small sections. I start at the top first. I don't do the entire ear, and you're pretty much going to make sure all your fluff is tucked in. Start at one side and pull the fabric back. Just lightly pull, and then while it's drying, it's cooling, just keep pulling it so it stays taut, so it's not moving. You want it to dry just like that. And then you're going to work on the edges. And now we have this pretty front side of the ear. Notice how clean it is. It's round. We have this little flap. Now I'm going to make sure all of this is tucked in because you don't want to accidentally get your fluff in your glue gun. Do not pull this super taut. You do not want it to completely conform to the cardboard. So as you can see, I'm just lightly pulling it back. I'm leaving the bottom of it you know, kind of, I don't know what the word is, it's just very like loose in the middle, because if you pull it as tight as it is with the cardboard, if you cut the cardboard cricket and then you decide to put it on top of the ears, it might not fit all the way. This kind of gives you a little bit of leeway with your cardboard cutting. Again, so if it's crooked, you can just sit it on the ear and it'll sit on there nice and straight and perfect. So this is going to be the front of the ear, and this is what I mean by you don't want to pull it so tight. That way the fabric kind of just sits on the ear. Now we are going to make the back of the ear. So same exact concept. Go ahead and tuck in all the fluff. You don't want to get it stuck in the glue gun. It gets messy. Go ahead and glue the top first. Then work on the edges. The only thing that is different from the front and the back, instead of gluing the bottom, we're actually going to leave that little flap open. That little flap is kind of essential to the sturdiness of the ears, so just don't mess with it. Just leave it there. It's the little tail. We need this little tail. Okay, so now we're going to assemble the ears. Grab 1/2 and you're going to glue it and pretty much sandwich it together, just like this. Once you sandwich it together, go ahead and tap it like this on the table, push it together. That way while it's drying, they kind of line up evenly. I actually got this idea from my boyfriend's baby's baseball photo. When they had moved, his father had given me a photo of him. It was in a little pin, and when I took it out of the container, I noticed the back of it was all smashed and the front of it was pretty. And that's kind of how I got the concept for my little macaroon ears, as I call them. So each backing was pretty ugly, but once you put it together, you don't really see it, and that's how you get your ears fluffy, but they're really firm from the cardboard. And this is one whole ear. Make sure these little flaps are in because you don't want them sticking out. This little front side sits on the ear, and this is where we're going to be putting our beaded trim. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the other ear real fast here just so you can see it. Okay, again, make sure these are nice and tucked in, so that way when they sit on the ears, they're not sticking out. It'll look weird. So my tail is really long. You don't need it to be this long. Make sure each sides are even. You just want it to be long enough to wrap onto the headband, which doesn't need to be very long at all. So I went ahead and I trimmed it on both of mine. Okay, let's talk about placement for a minute. You do not want to stick them on the top of the head like this. It will look weird. You actually want to stick them down on the sides of the headband, not the very top. So when you glue these, do not glue this front part. As you can see, there's kind of a space in the middle. You're actually going to seal that with glue, and you're going to glue the back end of the cardboard, and try not to get the fluff. So I'm just gluing right in here. The glue doesn't seep into this crevice, it kind of just sits on top, but you want to go through the whole lining of the ear. I hope you can see this. There's actually a lot of glue. I know it doesn't look like it, but there is, and notice how none of it's touching that front of the headband. Grab your headband and just plop it on there. Shift the headband into it, like really push it into it, and then just hold it while it dries. So to securely make sure this really stays without rocking, I'm actually going to glue that little tail down. That's why I said it doesn't need to be that long. Go ahead and dab some glue under there, and then again pull this somewhat taut. I kind of like to do it loose, and then with my fingers kind of roll it so it stays taut and the fabric is nice and tight in the back, and then just press it down as it dries. Okay, so to cover the little crevices in the ear, I'm going to be using some beaded trim. This is probably my preferred method. I've also used like a really thick, pretty rope. I tried sequins one time and it's pretty, but I kind of like having that dimensional look on the side. So use whatever you would like to fill it. I'm going to be using the beaded trim. When you're using the beaded trim, I don't shove it down in there. I kind of just lightly let it lay on top of the ears. And this is pretty much how the ears look. Now you just got to decorate it. If you want to take it a step further and you really want to make it look a little bit more professional, I get this at Joann's. It's in the ribbon section. They can cut it by the yard, by the foot, by the inch, whatever you need. And I glue this underneath the headband. Just glue some on, press it on, and it makes your headbands look really nice. Okay, so I'm going to be honest, I'm really lazy and I'm really bad at using a sewing machine. I think I've broke like every single sewing machine I've ever used. So when I make the bows, I just pretty much fold them. You can make double bows, you can make single bows, but when you make the bow, I use a lot of fabric. Don't know the dimensions, I kind of just eyeball it, but let me tell you, it is big. I grab it, I fold the bottom up, and then I fold the top down. When I fold in the sides, only one side goes partly in, and then you could see the other side goes way past the half point. I kind of tuck the edges in a little bit because I don't like them to poke out, but I'll show you how you fix that if they do poke out. So pull it all the way past the half point so they don't get unraveled. And then you're pretty much going to fold this in half. Fold the top half back. Flip it over and fold that top half forward. So what you're doing is you're just pretty much accordioning this, like those little butterfly things you used to make when you were in school, just like that. And then I got this thick twine from Hobby Lobby. Just grab one end and then wrap it around and tie it. That's it. It's easy. So this is pretty much how it's gonna sit on the headband. I told you this little tiny edge right here, it like really bothers me if it sticks out. I just get some glue and glue it down because again, I'm lazy. I mean, I'm sure you can trim it if you want, but I don't want to risk like unraveling anything, so I just use glue. Now to make the center of the headband, I just grab a little piece of excess fabric. This is way longer than what I need, but I would rather have it longer than have it shorter. Glue one side, fold it in half, and then you're just gonna repeat. So you're going to glue it in the center, but you want it facing out towards the back end of the ears. So glue a little bit down, make sure it dries, again, because we're going to be pulling this a little bit, so you don't want it to accidentally come undone while we're doing the ears. Okay, so now you see it's sticking from the back. I'm going to add my bow, and then I'm going to pull it over and down and then glue it underneath like that. I like to pull it taut a little bit because I like it to be tight. I don't want my ears to move. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fix my bow so it looks presentable. Okay, so now for the really fun part. So now we get to decorate it. Now that it's finished and over and done and created, you can add whatever you want to it. You can add jewels, you can add flowers. One of the simplest things to do is add a bottle cap center. I have these rose gold centers. You can find on Etsy these little epoxy centers. Mine have glitter in them. I'll see if I can find the person who I purchased these from and list her Etsy site down below, and then everybody has these. Just type in bottle cap centers and they will have every single thing that you need, and they're printouts. So pretty much you just grab an epoxy, they're stickers, stick it right on top of your design, press it down, see how pretty it is with all the glitter, and then you're just going to cut it out. Put a dab of glue in the center of your bottle cap and then stick it on. So that's a good way to make a center of the bow if you have a bunch of different characters that you want to do, but I like to get a little bit more creative with mine. So I'm going to be using this. I found this at Hobby Lobby. I thought it was really pretty, and I'm going to be gluing it right in the center. So I'm not putting the glue on right away. I actually let it set for a little bit because I didn't want the glue to run all over the bow and ruin it, but I'm holding it until it stays. And look how pretty that is. My favorite thing ever is anything that sparkles. So I'm going to be using all these fake crystals. So just a little note, Do not use super glue when it comes to plastic crystals. They will melt and the shape of the crystal will just turn into a blob. So I'm using this fabric fusion that I found, I think I got it at Joann's. They work really good. I'm not really picky when it comes to the glue that I put on my ears, but I kind of like this one. None of the stones have ever fallen off yet. And I'm just going to go ahead and dab them on just like this. There was a lot of pearls going on in this ear, so I figured why not add some to the actual ears themselves. So I just added these on last minute. I got these from a seller. I don't know if she still sells. I can see if she does. If she does, then I'll link them on below because I got all these little bags of crystals for like $1 each. But any of the things that I'm using, I'll go ahead and list them down below for you guys. The hardest part is letting them dry. So this is it. That's how I create my ears. I'm going to be making more videos of me decorating different types of ears. So if you have any certain characters or themes you want, please list them down below. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like on top of someone's head. This was like at 3 in the morning. I'm sick. I have no makeup on, but I just wanted to show you guys again how they look. So I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe to my other social media channels. And until next time, thanks guys.